How to eat to look like a shredded gymnast. Many people ask about this topic, so in this video I'm going to share some thoughts. To be honest, I don't know what kind of miracles some people expect or what they think gymnasts eat that other people don't. However, here are some thoughts to consider. Gymnasts are often mentioned as superhumans due to their performance. Their physique, performance, and mental focus are indeed unique. Now, what do you think such an athlete needs to eat? Do you think they live on fast food or snacks, eating whatever and whenever? Well, not really. I could bring up the car and fuel analogy. Supercars are usually filled with higher quality, premium fuel to maximize performance and engine lifespan. The same is true for gymnasts or athletes in general. I don't think there is anything surprising in that. This is why I said earlier that I don't know what kind of answer people are expecting to this question. Maybe they are looking for some sort of relief or excuse, like,
of course, gymnasts also eat all over the place, but since they train a lot, it doesn't matter, so feel free to eat any junk food you want.
It doesn't work that way, and a poor diet can be never out-trained, because even if you consume enough energy to maintain your weight and not gain fat, your health and performance won't be the best in the long run. I'm not saying there aren't examples of this. I'm sure that there are athletes who cheat or don't eat completely clean, but for the best ones, their diet is usually top-notch as well. However, there is a lot to learn from the schedule and eating habits of gymnasts. The first thing is that gymnasts cannot afford to eat inconsistently. Why? Because they spend 6 days a week, often 6 hours a day in the gym, and they don't eat while they are training. Additionally, of course, they don't eat while they are sleeping. So if you do the math, you will see that they don't have much time left in a day for eating. On the top of that, there are gymnasts who don't eat before the morning session, or they have a smoothie for easier digestion, which means limited calories, so they don't eat a whole meal. So basically, with a traditional schedule, there is only time for 2-3 meals a day. Here, please stop for a minute and think. If these athletes are capable of such performance with only 2-3 meals a day, then why should you need to eat 5 times a day, fearing that you won't get enough energy or nutrients with your 8-10 hours sitting at a desk and 2-3 weekly workouts of 1-2 hours?
You need food because your brain needs energy. Mental work uses calories too.
If a gymnast is physically and mentally able to concentrate twice a day during 3-hour sessions without food, and they don't crash because their brain doesn't get enough energy for concentration, then you'll likely survive too. The harsh truth is that most people either eat so much because they are bored, or their bodies are completely used to the constant carbohydrate intake and their metabolism doesn't work the right way. So one lesson is that by restricting your eating window, you can experience benefits, especially if you follow the pretty well researched intermittent fasting eating strategy. Time-restricted eating isn't necessarily practiced by gymnasts, except for those who skip breakfast. However, in the case of intensive training, incorporating a morning smoothie or a small meal might be important. But for the average person, using different time windows is entirely feasible, which comes with many health and aesthetic benefits. You can use different ratios from 14-10 to even 18-6, where you don't eat for 18 hours and you eat within a 6-hour window, and you can even go to an extent of eating 1 meal a day. Whichever you aim for, you should start very gradually, as due to the previously mentioned food or carbohydrate dependency, 90% of people are fundamentally incapable of following this strategy. Following the previous point, the second lesson from gymnasts is that when it's time to eat, the food should be good quality and nutritious. Elite gymnasts can't afford to eat processed, poor quality food. Just like supercars, they perform well and stay healthy in the long run on good quality fuel. I won't go into what should you eat or exactly what a gymnast eats, because it's pointless. It's different for everyone. Everyone has different preferences, everyone tolerates different foods. The most important thing is to eat real food. If there is no ingredient label, you're on the right track. Unfortunately, in today's world, these things have been reversed. Foods that are not processed, not genetically modified, are more expensive. That's why it's worth paying attention, if you can afford it, to make sure to get your food from a good source. Whether it's meat or plants, try to get them from trusted farms, eat local and seasonal foods. Interestingly, the more nutritious the food, the less you need to eat to feel satisfied and full, and it's easier to achieve and maintain a good physique. Again, I must say that most people get used to foods that aren't real and only cause them problems without even knowing it. There is a lot of stuff in foods that you don't even think about, so it's worth reading the labels and paying attention to what you're buying. And the price is not necessarily an excuse, because it can be managed at any financial level. So eat real food, and just by doing this, you'll be much better off. Unfortunately, for most people, the hardest part will be mental, but here's a tip. I always ask myself, especially when I'm faced with a temptation I know it's not necessarily good for me, does it nourish my body? Is it actually good for me? Does it promote my health? Is it just a momentary pleasure? Am I eating out of boredom? And that's usually enough. I answer the questions for myself and I can make a responsible decision. Try it yourself and try to stay objective. You will realize that often the food is not the solution, but you need to adjust a bit right here. The third lesson I think is very valuable from gymnasts relates to the fact that they need to be lean all year round. There is no cutting or bulking phases. They always need to be in top form, and they need to develop eating habits according to this. Just like in real life, in your life, this is the best approach. There is no yo-yo effect, no phases, but a long-term sustainable system. Just by doing the previous 2 points, you can develop this system properly. And since you're not a professional athlete, your favorite, not necessarily healthy food or dessert can still fit into this system. Obviously, your goal is not necessarily to achieve and maintain a single-digit body fat percentage, nor are you preparing for the Olympics. Neither I nor my students aim for that, but by establishing a good system, all of us have managed to achieve our desired physique, so you can as well. There is nothing really difficult in this, but if you're currently not satisfied with your physique, the problem is only that you don't have the right information, you couldn't develop the right habits on your own, and likely you're not surrounded by people who do it successfully. You don't need anything else but 2-3 well-structured training sessions a week, the right foundations about nutrition, an expert, and a supportive community who have already walked the path you're preparing to take. If you want to find the right solutions for all these in one place, join a supportive community and train according to a tried and tested system, click the link below, download the Gymnastics Method app in the App Store or Google Play Store, become a member and get access to our programs, tutorials, daily workouts and much more. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and now watch one of my previous videos on the end screen.